y todavía. Oh,
You have to accept. I put that on there to make sure that those people that are going to come out in this video accept that.
oh. Hi guys, and welcome to episode 2 of this Oddments Cardi Cal special hosted by Mind and Muse Crafts and crochetcakes. Hi. So this episode, as I said, is episode 2, and we're just going to be chatting to you about our progress with this Oddments Cardi Cal, which is a cal that was completely inspired by Rosina's version of the J.W. Anderson sweater, the Harry Styles cardigan, whatever you want to call it. And if you still have no idea what we're talking about, then please click in the description box below. You will find the links to episode 1. And you can, of course, feel free to check out the hashtag on Instagram for more information. So speaking of episode 1, I don't think that we were really clear about where we are running this Oddments Cardi Cal. So do you want to answer that question?
Hi guys, well, welcome back to everybody. And yeah, there might be some details that we unconsciously left out the last time, so we're going to try and wrap it up this time. For example, the Oddments Cardi Cal is a cal that currently is running on Instagram, in the sense that we are communicating back and forth and sharing our ideas on Instagram and using the hashtag Oddments Cardi Cal. Everything in undercase letters and lowercase letters, and everything one word. No date or anything, just hashtag Oddments Cardi Cal. But we wanted to check in because we know that there might be some of our viewers on YouTube that do not have Instagram accounts. And so we wanted to check in with all of you guys here also and see if you have any other recommendations for running the cal. In what sense do we mean running? We would like to see your progress. We would like to be able, the idea of doing this together at the same time is to see if the problems that I had, Clarisabeth is having, if the problems that she's having, somebody else has had, and how we responded to those, how we solved our issues, right? Or resolved them. So, you know, it's not always easy to do that on Instagram because Instagram is a different type of platform. So yes, if you have any other recommendations, if you would like for us to open up a thread on Clarisabeth's account in Ravelry so that we can share there, just let us know in the description, in the comments below, and we will address that. We will gladly. If you would like to open up an account on another forum for this or another platform, let us know. We'll think about everything. We just want to get as many people together happily and merrily, working up through the end of the year and saying, ha, in your face to 2020. We are happy. We are colorful. We are excited and motivated. And so about something. So if you would like to share that with us, just let us know on what platform and we'll try and work that in. So those are our options for now. We want to specifically thank all the people that have showed interest in the cal here on YouTube, on Instagram, and specifically due to the support we've been receiving from Rosina of the Zeens and Roger podcast, who so fantastically decided to allow us the use of her swipe up button, which you only get on Instagram if you are special. And since Rosina is special, she has that option and she was sharing it with us, and you were able to just swipe up and get directly to the pilot version of this
series.
The pilot episode of this series of events. So,
and they're not unfortunate.
and they are, hopefully they won't be unfortunate. And if there are some unfortunate event along the way, hopefully we will together find the way to solve our issues and end up all victoriously at the end or some moment soon with a cardi with lots of colors to wear. So
Or
Chris,
a sorry, or a blanket or a cushion, because
right,
I think
so
that's something we mentioned last time, that as long as you're using in some way, shape, or form this design or the way Rosina wrote up the recipe, then you are more than welcome to participate. Because I know I had some people mention that they wouldn't wear the cardigan, but it's all fun.
I don't know if I want to put the emphasis on wearing the cardigan because I just want to make it. I just want to make it. I might hang it up on my wall as an art decor after, but I am going to make it. So yeah, so you can either come along for the ride, you can watch how our cardis and the other cardis that people have that said they were going to participate are making up, or you can also participate yourself and use the same, what would you call it? The same style or the same instructions to create. Maybe I thought about a lot of things that you could probably create. I thought about blankets. We mentioned pillowcases or pillow covers. I thought that you could even make a hat using smaller squares, but using the same technique. You could make a hat in a rectangle, seam it at the end, seam it and singe it, and add the rim, the border to it, and a pom-pom, and you've got yourself maybe even a checkered hat if you repeat your colors enough. I thought you could use the same technique to make a pair of mittens. And I mean, after all, it's just tapestry crochet in blocks. It's like color blocking. It's not really a discovery, right? So you could also probably make your mittens in the same way, because this part of the mitten could be just a rectangle that you have seamed together, and then you are going to leave a space in between some of those squares for your thumb, just like Rosina leaves a space for the arm. And then at the top, you're going to add a rim. And at the bottom, you're going to add a rim too. And you've got, I think, you could get mittens out of it. Or if you wanted to make a miniature version of this to put on your Christmas tree, how pretty would that be? Let's see who comes up with a red, white, green, and blue version for Christmas. That is, we can just hang it on our tree. And so there are lots of ideas. Come participate, come join us. And we are very thankful for all of those that have already, as we said, shown interest in doing this. We received an increase, for example, in communications on Instagram. And speaking of Rosina, Rosina is sponsoring this Cal in so many ways. In so many ways. Yeah. So we're very grateful to her also.
Yep, she gave us this opportunity, the idea, because
she allowed us to work along with her idea here.
Yeah.
What was the phrase that she said? She was going to be running on the tail of this for a while.
Yeah, something
that she posted on Instagram.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Hopefully, we'll be there right behind her.
Telling people that we had. We'll all be on this yarn tail together.
And she'll be dragging us, and she'll be dragging us. So, I know
so not only did she come up with the idea, of course, she allowed us her swipe up button, like you said, which is magic, and I wish I had that level of magic. Anyway. Yes, but she's also offered very kindly as well some patterns to give away for this Cal. So at the end of this Cal, we'll have some fun things to give away for you guys. We still haven't really put together what it's going to be, but the start will be Rosina's patterns that she's very kindly donated to this very worthy cause.
Well, I don't know how worthy it is, but thank you very much, Rosina. We are very happy that you are going to share that with her. Rosina, if you don't know who she is Zeens and Rogers on Instagram, zeensandrogers.com on the internet, and she's a wonderful everywhere. UK designer. Her designs are really, really fantastic. There's so many ideas that she puts together. She can take a stitch for a long ride and at the end make it look so different. Yes, if you don't know if you haven't followed her, you are missing out on something. So,
do we want to talk about what progress we've made?
I guess that's that's what we came here for, and that's, I guess, what we should do, right? So we're gonna try and tackle this again in a little bit of order so that we both get our 2 cents in here without making this extensively long. But we do want to, just in case somebody missed that first video and doesn't really want to go back and see it, we'll try and just re-mention some ideas here, right? So let's start with the materials that we're using, Clarisabeth.
First off, paper and pencil. You want to make a chart to lead the way into this adventure, color adventure, as it were. And once you've got your chart based on your colors or the yarn that you've got available, you decide what.
So did you choose your colors first and then make the chart, or did you take the chart, color it in, and then look to see if you had those colors in your stash?
No, I first went through my stash. You can see a part of it behind me, and I kind of took out any odd balls of yarn that I had, half size balls and whatever. And also right there on top, that's my Spicier Life blanket, which I talked about this in the previous episode. It provides a whole new idea of colors.
Complicated the situation a bit more, didn't it?
It did, but because of that option and the options of the yarny leftovers that I had, I chose to go with a DK weight version because that's what I had most in my stash, ironically. And I'm using a 4mm hook, and I went with the numbers or stitches that were provided by Rosina, but not the row count, because my gauge, I had a 4x4 square with a 4mm hook, 18 stitches, 13 rows. And so I'm going with her original stitch counts there because I also did 162 stitches for the body. That's how I started mine. Are you using DK yarn, worsted yarn? What you doing?
Yeah, I also looked through my stash first to see what I had most. I also found lots of DK. And then I got to think about, well, it really doesn't matter if I have lots of DK or not, because I've got lots of yarn and I don't have any problem with stranding yarn together to make it into a new weight. But I decided not to do that because I had so many leftovers that I really wouldn't need. But it's an option. You know, if you don't have, if you want to make this chunky, the original version was a super chunky or something like that. You know, these real big, oversized. I wasn't going to go. I'd love to do that. Every once in a while, you get these very cool winds here on the next, like maybe the end of December, beginning of January, where you can actually wrap yourself up. And yeah, it might be okay to have that type of thing. But I really don't have that type of yarn in my stash. But if you do, you could use that. Or if you want to create that type of a style, just put yarns together and see what you get. So I found that most of what I had in bits and pieces was DK, and a lot of it wool, but not all of it. I have blends. I have cotton acrylic blends, and I have cotton acrylic bamboo, and I have bamboo with wool, and I have wool with acrylic, and what don't I have? So
we're not
it's all
discriminating here.
I'm not discriminating. It's all going into a wonderfully colorful garment. I am using a 4.5mm hook because my gauge is, what does that make? Your gauge looser than mine tighter than yours. And
yeah, mine's looser.
I am using 18 stitches for each color across. And I did do the 15 rows tall, which is the same. I don't remember by now. We've seen so many numbers, but I think that was the original recommendation of Rosina on the vlogs and on the blog that she wrote up. So yes, I have 9 colors. I chose 9 colors. What did you go for with the colors?
I don't know. I started, like I said, I started with just literally the scraps that I had in my stash left over from other garment making projects. Almost all of them actually were left over from garments. So I went with that, and then now I've sort of got it in my head to only do black, white, a shade of green, and mustard.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know how that's going to go because I already finished one row, and I
can always rip back. You can always rip back. It wasn't that bad. I actually did. I actually started mine out. I'm beginning mine, and my ribbing is all going to be in this beautiful. I have too much. I don't know where it is anymore. It's a shade of purple. It looks blue, but
it looks blue.
It's
it looks royal blue.
Yeah, but it's not. Maybe back here.
No, blue.
It's not blue. It's purple. And initially I had chosen a different color, and when I was like, it was probably I think 6 rows in, and I decided that I did not want to do it that way, so I ripped it back and I did it again. And at the present, I have 1 complete row done. How much do you have done?
This is the color. It's black.
How much do you have done? On 1 whole row, 1 whole block?
1 whole block.
Just one. Okay.
Yes. Jeez, Mom. I can't speed as much as you think that I crochet that fast.
Well, I actually think that if I had dedicated only to that, I could get it done, because
it's fun.
It was like addictive.
Yeah, no. That's how I completed 1 whole block, because I was like, oh my god, look, I can change colors now. Oh, I'm changing stitches
And I can
now.
imagine that when the second row comes along, where you're really going to start seeing how the colors combine, it's going to get even more exciting.
That's true. Oh, speaking of stitches, I don't think we talked...
Wait, anything else you want to say about the colors? About your color choice? No? You think you're going to change colors now on the second row?
Yeah, I do think I'm going to change colors. And I don't know if you did this, but in this row, color blocking row, do you see that the mustard and pink are the same height, but that coral orange
What stitch did you use there?
So this is half double crochet normal. This is, I'm showing you the back, that's why you can't see. This is half double crochet normal. This is half double crochet in the front loop. And then this is the lemon peel stitch. And that was my mistake, because doing this textured stitch in a very thin DK weight yarn, you can see how stretched out it looks sideways and then just shrunken. So
yeah, because it's the idea, you do have a half double, but each time you're bringing it down. What are you doing, a single crochet after, or a slip stitch?
I'm doing double crochet and then single crochet.
Oh, you're doing double crochet and single crochet. Okay.
But then double you look at this one.
Well, that's kind of weird, huh?
And then, so this is really funny. These 2 are DK weight, and then the chartreuse in the middle is worsted. It's Karen Simply Soft. They all look the same size. But this one looks kind of...
what are the stitches?
Flatter? Is that the right way of saying it?
What are the stitches?
I think these 3, these 2 are half double crochet, and then this one's half double crochet in the front loop.
Okay.
But it sort of made it squished. Like, all the others are very wide.
Well, I found that half double crochet in the front loop does that.
Yeah,
I had the same thing happen to me.
Yeah, it was okay in this one, because since it's worsted, it just ended up looking like a DK weight size.
Yeah.
And then the lemon peel stitch in the worsted was actually a good choice, because it looks the same
for the same reason. Yeah, for the same reason.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have the same. I could share the same experiences with you, and since you showed off yours, I'm going to show off mine. But I've got the thing is that I have terrible light here, and you've got great lighting, so the darker colors won't kind of come out here.
So that's brown.
This is DK. This is a worsted, and it's worsted using front loop only. So
Yeah, so
notice
it looks
this is
very,
regular half double, and this is not. So you
yeah.
see it
It
same
also looks more
size.
squished.
It looks yeah, but since it's worsted, it looks almost as wide as this one
Hmm.
does. Or what is
Hmm.
it? Here, this is a blend of cotton
You
and
can tell that has
merino,
bamboo in it
bamboo and
because of
merino, right? This is
how
just half double
stretched.
crochet. This is my lovely texture stitch.
Oh, I love that one.
And this one is a acrylic cotton that I used for, if you remember my what I call it, salt and pepper beach tunic for that I'm making for my
Oh
daughter.
yeah, yeah, that you
Now
started
look
a
what happened here. This one really is a lot. This is the smallest one of all because
mm-hmm.
I did it in, again, the front loop only. And this was thin. This was a yarn.
A
It's
thin
100%
DK,
wool.
right?
It's 100% wool, but it was a thin DK. This
Mm-hmm.
one is just half. It's just acrylic style craft. Got a lot of stretch to it. Again, style craft with the same stitch that I used here.
I love that faux bobble stitch. It's so good.
This one is the 50% merino, 50% acrylic. Is it acrylic or nylon? Nylon.
Nylon. Oh yeah, because it's
And the
the Z
furls.
furls.
Do I have that one? Yeah, this one, merino.
Whims.
Wims merino in red. And so that one is pretty small too. And this is the worst of all. And
That one's
I think the
tiny.
reason is because
It doesn't have something pulling
this is
it.
DK, right? This is DK authentic. It's 100% wool. This is from Catherine's yarn. It's DK. But the fact that it is not in the middle of another two
Mm-hmm.
has made it very squished. So I think from there I have learned that this was my attempt to use a yarn that I knew was going to pull to try and to make that kind of like animal print
Without
or
making the
those
animal.
for those of us that are lazy. And it I think that what I've learned from this is that all of the blocks that are at the edge of my cardigan should be in just regular half double crochets.
Yes, that's something I decided here. So this one is half double crochet, no, and this one's also half double crochet, my two endy bits, and they look fine. The only one
And
that
I
really,
have second thoughts about if I'm going to use this light green because I think it's too thin. But
yeah,
like always in crochet,
this one really bugs me.
as you work it up, and you get all of those squares pulling on each other, it will probably pull. It will
That's what
probably
I
pull.
that's what I was hoping for, and I had also made the conscious choice of whatever yarn I put on top of this one should be of a thicker weight, just so it would kind of make up for the fact that it's so thin.
And plus, you always have the option of blocking at the end.
Yeah.
Of course, I don't know if we had done it in. If I had done it, we had decided to do it in, or I had decided to do it in panels, like the original J.W. Anderson shows on their video, which I linked in the episode before in our previous pilot version of this cardigan Cal. Then I think I would have blocked each panel before sewing them together. And I think that would
Yeah.
have straightened everything out. Of course, if
Yeah,
you're
and
doing it in
also
squares, if you're just doing the squares and joining them together, you can also
you should be
block
fine.
them out, and that would also make them all the same size.
And
So,
also, since you're starting with foundation half double crochet always looks obscenely bigger than what it's actually going to end up being. So you kind of have that curve, or at least I do. I've got that kind of swoop effect of shrinking.
well, I guess it's the pulling for all the different yarns.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Of course, I'm not even going to worry about that.
So it's just been interesting because I chose this intarsia crochet method because when I made my crochet flower duster, that I felt that was essentially what I was doing. I was using one stitch to like blocks of this stitch. It's essentially what it was.
Horizontal blocks instead of,
Yeah. So it's funny how doing that cardigan with just one color and one stitch essentially, you don't get that squished square look, you know? But, you know, maybe it's just that, yeah. Maybe it's just that you have to change your hook size depending on the stitch you're using. Maybe?
Yeah, you could do that. You could do that. For example, I've always done the front loop only half double. I've always done that in a larger hook. Because this is a stitch you can use sometimes for ribbing, and they recommend doing it. And I remember that when I did it in a larger hook. So yeah, I was really surprised at how much it pulled in for that worsted weight there.
It did.
Makes it look so small.
I'm looking at my squares and they don't look very square-like.
No.
So I was looking to see if I had a tape measure on hand.
Like I say, when we get all of this, you're going to keep on going, 18 stitches, which I have to accept, and I have to confess that I did have problems maintaining, because every once in a while I'll say, wait, what did I lose a stitch here? Because when you do like the front loop only or something like that,
yes,
it kind of get hidden. The last stitch is kind of hidden. So every once in a while I did have to rip back and redo.
I didn't rip back. I just added it because by the time
I was afraid it would look too
weird. My problem was actually that I had added stitches in the half double crochet front loop only. I somehow had added stitches and I had 20 instead of 18. I just decreased. Like I'm not ripping.
So one of the things that I am thinking, okay, so how many stitches did you use? I used the front loop only, the regular half double. I used my faux bobble, and that was it. That was all I used. And then I alternated them. I did 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
So I did half double crochet, front loop only, and then the lemon peel stitch. But I will confess that for this raggedy orange one, the last row is a faux bobble because I was hoping it would make it a little bit taller, and it didn't. So
what are you doing faux bobble? 1 treble, 1 US double treble?
No, I did.
Well, UK double treble, US treble. And then single.
Yeah. Well, so that's what I've learned.
Okay.
I honestly also realized I don't like pink. I don't know why I included it. I don't like that square. And I think the way I put these 3 colors together, they look babyish. And I don't like that either. So I have to fix that.
And that's your front panel. Well, they'll be at the bottom.
That's what I said too.
So it all depends on what you do after. Well, I already have my plan for the next row. So this is this side. And so on top of the brown, I've got a red. I don't even look Christmassy because then it's got red, green, and orange. And then, so I've got my row planned. I figured I had to do that but I know that at one point I will be making a change because I want to put in, at least in the middle of the back, 1 square with this purple, with that deep purple. I want the deep purple of the ribbons to be somewhere inside of it. Notice that my plan is for my thingies here, my sleeves here, to look quite a bit different because they're going to have more of the same color and they're going to have repeats of the color. So they're going to look a little bit different from the body. That's going to be okay. But I do think that I might not use this light green because of the fact that it is so much thinner, or I was thinking about adding to the light green fingering weight for the next round. Try to find a fingering weight or a lace weight that'll
go with it.
That goes with it, and so that might change the color a little bit. But I think I also want to maintain yarn with stitch. I don't think I want to change because it's kind of a cool anticipation of the color and the stitch that come up next. And if you decide what stitch is going with what yarn, you have the possibility of making that yarn look its best. And you also have the possibility of remembering what goes next. I don't know if that's important to everybody, but yeah. Those are decisions, right?
I'm not keeping stitch with yarn because I chose the lemon peel stitch for that very thin DK.
Well, yeah,
and
I
it
could
looked
make some changes. For
So
example,
I
I
have to
know
make
that I'm
that.
not going to put this stitch in the corner anymore.
Yeah.
So that I'm going to change. The
So
sequence of stitches might change.
I sort of have some colors chosen for the next row, except one that I honestly do not remember. It's painted blue, but I don't think it's the same blue I used in the beginning row. So I have to find which blue I intended that to be. So my first one is ripping back here and using this speckly white. And then this speckly white will be followed by ye orange. And then it'll be that blue that I have no idea which blue that is. I painted that blue and I'm like,
well, yeah, because it was kind of hard to do the painting because I didn't have colors the exact same color of my yarn. Yeah, I get you.
And so next to that blue, whatever shade it is, I'm going to have mustard. And then next to the mustard, I'm going to have my lazy animal print. And then I'm going to follow that.
Oh, that one didn't come out in the first row, did it?
No. So this is going to
because
be
you only
sort of
have
my...
four. You only have you can only make four, so you can put one on each sleeve, one on the front, and on the front panels, one on each front panel.
No, I'm saving it one in the middle back, one on one front panel, and then one on each sleeve. So there's going to be, the other front panel is not going to have one, which I'm upset about. So I was actually
thinking about pulling back your blanket. How dare you? How dare you?
Because this yarn, if you know, I don't even know if you remember if you've watched.
But is it on the edge?
No, I would have to rip back a lot of my scrappy granny stripe blanket to get to this, but it's very tempting because I just want one more square. One more square.
And even though I haven't really tried all my yarns, but I really don't think that you can get all that much like we thought pooling that will actually look like some type of animal print. I don't really have
no, it doesn't, but I do like, I've already said I'm not a fan of variegated yarns, but I do like how this would look surrounded by solid colors. So even though it's not
what I mean is I really didn't end up having a lot of them in my stash.
I think you have a lot of red heart.
I probably have a lot of, yeah, but they're all one color. And they're worsted. Yeah. Well, now that I know that the worsted kind of gets sucked in when you use that front loop only, that might be a good thing.
Or your faux bobble will probably kind of like suck it in.
But I don't know if that will affect the pooling.
And then on one of my front panels, I'm going to have Cars green. But so I still need to decide on 3 colors for row 2. And I honestly think that instead of just umming and ahhing, I'm going to do what I do best and just go for it and then close my eyes and like it. Because there's too much decisions. I think
there's too many choices. That's what happens. You have to kind of like reduce your choices.
So you kind of have to go with a color palette. Do you want pastels? No, I don't like pastels. Do you want super bright neon combined with neutrals? Yes, that is
Or do you want strong colors versus very light colors, or
so
autumnal versus summery?
Yeah, that's one of the things I learned by doing this row. I really don't like these 3 together. They're too babyish for me. They're too pastel like. My favorites are these. And even though they're my favorites, I still think I would have liked them better if I would have had gray, green, gray, and then blue, gray, you know, like have one color that's always repeated and dividing them up. I don't like that pink, and I do like that mustard. So how many times can I say I don't like pink in this?
I don't know. Maybe that's what we should call this.
I don't like pink.
No pink cardigans.
Exactly.
Well, how would we like to? Okay. What?
Looks good if you
The
roll it up.
swirl, a swirl to make a cotton swirl of it.
Yeah, it looks good. So I think that is it for what I've learned.
I think
Combining
that
yarn sheaves.
basically they look one way now because of the fact that but if you look at
They're
them,
lonely.
they're really not, I'm not having a lot left over. So they're basically all the same height, I think,
Yeah.
which means that,
It,
my tension is not that bad.
um, yeah, my tension was a little bit off too because of my finger issues. So, yeah.
So one thing I will say is that I've tried to put it like around, I'll just say, around me, and it's not an exaggeration of
Well, remember
looseness.
that it's going to have about 1 inch button band on each
Yeah,
side,
yeah,
so
I
you
know.
can't
That's why
close it up.
I'm just putting it together like this. I'll put it like this.
Yeah.
But then you
I
can
think
see
it'll
that
be,
I think it's gonna
yeah,
be okay.
mine is that about that big too. I think it's gonna be fine. Cause,
I
ooh,
want to get it done.
I know. I'm like, that's why I'm so upset with myself
I
that I
was
haven't
actually thinking
decided on my
about, I
color.
want to change this stitch
You could do
over
a
here.
scarf. Look.
Yeah, you could. Of course you could. You could make it long enough.
Yeah.
And you just have a color. I actually saw, if you've purchased the latest magazines, I think Karen Simply has one advertisement where they have this really long scarf that is made in color blocks and also changes in stitches. So, yep, you could do it. So
Um,
that's
yep.
what we have learned. That's where we're going with this. Hopefully sharing it with you will give you some ideas of how to tackle the problems that, well, not problems, they're just events that occur, and how to don't worry about it too much, I think, for now, because as you continue to attach yarn to this, I think it's going to change because of the fact that this is very thin now, but I am going to change the color. So this color is not going to be up in a black. There's going to be a different color at the top, which will have a different texture maybe, and a different, so I don't know how maybe that will stretch out. Maybe that will stretch it out because of the fact that I'm going to have
That's what I was thinking too. If I choose a thicker yarn to go on top of this little orangey one, it'll probably stretch it out too.
So we'll have more for you once we get our second row done. We don't know how frequently we're going to be doing these updates because we thought that, well, maybe people are now getting into the Christmas season where they're planning their makes. If you are a maker that actually gives your crochet away for Christmas. And so we didn't want that to be extra pressure on you to finish something like this. We could drag it on into the new year in the sense that we won't end it. We'll just keep on receiving those posts on Instagram and any comments on this channel, and then eventually probably just update our progress in our individual podcasts. But we just wanted to start out for you together because we were going to tackle this together. We wanted to be able to share, and we figured, well, we're going to be calling each other to share. We might as well share what we're talking about with everybody else at the same time. And so make these little vlogs to update you. So it won't be like every week, but we did want to give the beginning of this like a push and a nice motivation so that you would want to start this as much as we did, and you will want to work on it as much as we did. And we want to try every once in a while to get another episode of these in so that we can keep you motivated. Hey, check out, what have you been doing with your Cardi? And hopefully soon see some very colorful Cardis on that Instagram
I
feed.
know we had an Instagrammer that had already started, and if you have already started, you are still more than welcome to participate as long as you are making, like we said, a version of this.
Right, and someone asked me if they could knit a version because they're knitters, and I mean, go for it. I don't knit except for occasionally, but I really do appreciate the fact, I mean, I can appreciate knitting for what it is and the beautiful designs it can create. And so, I mean, you can craft if you want to weave and you want to weave your squares, go ahead and do it. I mean, you know, it's just, what's our focus here? Using oddments, using lots of colors together, and not being pressured, and working on it with lots of love and joy and something to fill up all of the sort of like emptiness that parts of this year have left us, and something to look forward to when you open up those project bags or when you sit down in your corner with all of those colors. You know, it's just that. So no pressure to finish today or tomorrow, no pressure to use a certain color pattern or a certain stitch. I mean, you can use it to try and learn new stitches and try and experiment with a new yarn and experiment with a new type of hook. I mean, use it for what it is and just share it. That's all we want to do. Just share whatever you learn with us so that we can also benefit from vicariously, right, through what you are doing.
And encourage each other and support each other as well. So definitely keep us updated on Instagram with the hashtag Oddments Cardi Cal. And
definitely let us know if you want us to open up a thread on Ravelry, because I'm more than willing to go there and join with whoever wants to go there and talk about what we are doing. If there is another platform that you think we should be using, you can suggest it. Neither of us has much time. I am at the peak of the semester where there's lots and lots of work to get done before the semester ends. And I'm using a new way of teaching that I have never used 100% before. And so even recording sometimes can become annoying because of the fact that I am always on my camera recently, and I'm always on my computer. But you know,
this is more fun.
We'll tell you. Of course it is. I want to be doing this all the time. But what I mean is that if you have a suggestion for another platform that you think we should look into, you can give it to us. What I can't promise is that we will actually be able to please you. And because using a new platform takes learning, and my learning curve is really, really steep at this point in my life. So, yeah, share your comments on what you've been up to, what you've been working on, if you decided to join us,
how you're working it up, what colors
you didn't decide to join us, but you have any suggestions for us, that's fine too. And let's share the love. So I think those are our endy notes or endy bits or our final comments for this episode number 2 of this Cardi Cal, and hoping that you are not any less motivated after this chat than you were before. I mean, it's all good. I'm very happy with what I'm seeing at this moment. I can actually see myself in this. And even if I don't see myself in it, I can just see myself touching this time and again while I'm watching something on TV or just putting it on while I put myself in an air-conditioned room so I can...
Just so you can wear it.
Just so I can wear this, right. So, tackle on.
Crochet on.
And until we meet again, keep yourself safe, keep yourself happy, and keep yourself especially healthy so that we can see this thing through. Okay?
Happy crafting.
Bye-bye for now. Love you all.